If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have James Vick joining the program as he gets ready to take on Dan Hooker July 20th in San Antonio, Texas, UFC on ESPN 4. James, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for doing this. Very much appreciated, especially so close to the fight, which is a little less than 3 weeks away now in your home state of Texas. How fired up are you to be fighting in Texas once again?
I'm excited. I've always did good in Texas. I love fighting at home in front of all my people, and it's always a great time. I've always performed well.
It was funny. I had a really good friend of mine who went to that UFC pay-per-view in Dallas, the one that you were a part of, and there was a lot of really big fights on that card, a lot of names, and the main event was obviously a big one. There were a couple of title fights, but he even said of all the reactions from the crowd that he heard, the one for you was by far the loudest. How does that make you feel knowing that you have this contingency of fans who want to come out and see you perform?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. That was basically my backyard. That was in Dallas, in American Airlines Center. I lived 30 minutes from there, so it was great to have all my people come out. It was just a great time. I got my baby here, y'all, so I guess he's doing the interview too.
All right. Been there many of times. What's up,
Jr.
buddy? James Jr.?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I mean, you got James Jr. with you. You got the lady with you. You're at a hotel right now. Training camp is ongoing. It's the hard part's about to be over. How has it all been going? How's the preparation been getting ready for this fight?
It's been great. I'm not gonna lie. This has been one of the best camps I've had. I mean, I know people say that shit all the time, but I'm so healthy right now. I'm healthy. Everything is so good. I couldn't ask for anything for it to be any smoother than it's been so far. To be honest with you, I basically have one more week of hard training, and the rest of it's all just the weight cut and cardio and being smart and making it to the fight. But I'm so healthy right now. I got my girl and baby. They've been up here for a few days. They're going to stay like a total of maybe 10 days. Just here towards the end, it helps. I mean, obviously I miss my family, and then it helps because my girl pre-cooks my food and stuff like that, so it makes stuff easier for me. And then it's just takes your mind off things. Get to see your family and your son and stuff.
It's been a really interesting ride for you as of late. I mean, we had spoken a little under a year ago, and you had finally got that high caliber matchup you had been looking for with Justin Gaethje, and that fight didn't go your way. And then you had the fight with Felder a few months back, and you went on to lose a unanimous decision. It was a fun fight regardless, but what have you learned over the last 10, 11 months or so about yourself as a fighter and as an athlete? Like, what have you been able to take away from this time?
I mean, a lot of stuff. I mean, first off, the last fight with Felder was a close fight. In my opinion, that fight could have went either way. I thought I could have won that fight. I mean, I'm not going to complain and act like I got robbed or anything, but it's not like he clearly handedly won that fight. Definitely. I mean, I landed more significant strikes in that fight than he did, and he landed one more total strike than I did. It was a very close fight. It could have went either way, so I'm not going to, it sucks, he got the decision, but I'm not going to complain, but it's not like I got, beat that fight per se, you know what I'm saying? I didn't, so that definitely sucked. And, with Gaethje, I got caught, it was a tactical error that, it was a tactical error. James Jr., what are you doing, baby? It was you're a little superstar, aren't you?
He's trying to take the limelight away from you already. How about that?
You little glory hound, son. Anyway, yeah, it sucked. It sucked. I didn't change a lot though, to be honest with you. What I've been doing has been working, period. People can, you're going to lose fights. I mean, this is what people don't understand about me is some of these guys have literally been training for 10 years longer than I have, including Paul Felder and Justin Gaethje. He was a freaking, he wrestled 4 years in college and was a D1 All-American. I never even wrestled in high school. You know what I'm saying? So, now granted, I didn't lose from wrestling. I got caught with a punch, but when you don't have to work on wrestling and grappling as much, you can focus on other shit. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Felder's been training since he was like 10, 12 years old. I didn't even start boxing until I was 20 years old, and I didn't start grappling until I was 22. So I've caught up to a lot of these guys that have literally been training for 10 years or more longer than I have. It's always a growing process. I really believe what I'm doing is the right thing. And I think that if it wasn't the right thing, then I wouldn't be getting the results I'm getting overall. I may lose every now and then, but at the end of the day, I still legit have one of the best records in the entire organization. And I'm fighting guys with twice as much experience as me, and I'm catching them. So I 100% believe in everything I do. I didn't change anything. I don't take a loss and blame my team, or blame my coaches, or take the bitch way out. You know what I'm saying? I man up, and my team didn't let me down. I let them down. And I haven't changed a thing. Obviously I've added a lot of new shit to my game. I've been doing a lot of different stuff. Over the last, I would say probably 2 years, and it's been coming together really well for me. But I haven't changed a lot. And, as far as learning, tactical errors, I've fixed the technical part of it, the issues I had, as far as live training. But, I knew I was mentally strong. I've always been mentally strong. None of this is affecting my confidence any. It's affecting my wallet. That's for sure. It's kind of depressing losing fights and getting half the money for sure. But besides that, in my mind, I'm still right where I need to be. And I'm a top world-class fighter.
Just to kind of clarify, I wasn't in any way questioning your skill as a fighter, just obviously the mental swings of the sport. Because I'm not a fighter, I could never really understand it, which is why I like talking to you guys, because I'm fascinated by that whole thing. It's just sort of dealing with the mental swings of the sport, the highs and the lows, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks, man. But it's like it's like the saying goes, tough times don't last, tough people do. I still believe I'm one of the most mentally strong people in the UFC and in the world. I believe that, like I said, I've started 10 years later than everyone. I've had 4 major surgeries. I've worked a full-time job half the time I've been in the UFC, and I'm still beating these guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really it sucks. The main thing it sucks really realistically for me is the opportunity I blew. Those opportunities I blew. The main event was, big time, especially, all the trash I talked and stuff like that. That would have been, people can say what they want to, but if I win that fight the way he wins that fight, I'm an overnight superstar. And I fucking blew it. I'm not gonna blame anybody but myself. That's what cowards and losers do. They blame everyone else but themselves, and blame their team, and blame their sparring partners, blame their coaches, and all this shit. I took the loss, and it's my fault. I've adjusted from it. I don't want to say I've moved on, because you don't really move on, but it's not going to affect any of my performances. Even with the last fight, I didn't feel it affected my performance. I fought a good fighter, and I got hurt with the calf kicks. That's a game changer in this sport. So that move is a game changer in this sport recently. So it's just, that's where I'm at right now. I'm good. My mindset is nothing but victory.
Is this matchup with Hooker, a guy who is an exciting fighter, a guy that's going to stand there and slug it out with you, having this fight in your home state of Texas, is this kind of what the doctor ordered for you, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a good matchup for me. I think that he's not a joke. The dude can fight. He's good. He's beat some high level competition. He's been in the UFC for a while now. He has some really good wins, and his losses, early on, maybe some of the fights he shouldn't have lost, but I think he's grown. He's progressed drastically. He's obviously takes his career serious, and you can see the progression he's made over the last few years, and he's a serious opponent, and I'm ready for this.
A win is always great to get back on track, but from talking to you many times in the past, will just getting a win be enough for you on a personal level to sort of right the ship, or do you feel like you need to go out there and make a statement on July 20th?
I'm not gonna do nothing stupid. I'm not gonna take an unnecessary risk. Obviously, I always try to finish fights. I'm gonna try to finish the fight, but I'm not gonna do. What are you doing, son? Can Daddy do his interview?
He's so happy. He is so happy.
You got a camera now. You want to perform, son? Is that what you want to do? Anyway,
hey,
I'm not going to take any unnecessary risk, but I am going to go out there and try to finish the guy. For sure, in a perfect world, I finish Dan Hooker in the first or second round, and I get a $50,000 bonus. And, I walk away. I'm happy. The plan, I win this fight, I'm going to pay my house off. that really sucked losing last fight, because I could have already owned my own house, and I got half the money, and I blew it. And it's just depressing, and I'm not going to let that happen again. And I'm going to win this fight. Me and James Jr. and his mom are going to go to SeaWorld the next day. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to pay our house off, and life is going to be good.
As a gambling enthusiast, I wanted to get your opinion on this, because right now most of the odds makers have you as a plus 30, plus 130, plus 140 underdog, and Dan around a minus 170, 175 favorite. How do you feel Vegas is doing with these lines right now? And do you feel like a lot of people can make some money here?
Yeah, they better bet now, because what's going to happen is by the time the odds get around, it's going to be even odds. By the time the fight comes around, it's going to be even odds where I might even be the favorite. So they better pull the trigger now. Yeah, they're going to bet on me and win some money for sure. I always bet on myself, and I might have lost fights, but I've won more money on myself than I've ever lost, and I will always bet on myself. The day I stop betting on myself is the day I stop fighting.
How does this all go down in San Antonio? You versus Dan Hooker should be an exciting fight live on ESPN. A lot of eyes upon you guys. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised?
In a perfect world, I get a finish. I get a knockout, first or second round. But I mean, if a decision comes, it comes. I'm trying to get that win bonus. I'm trying to pay my house off. Yeah, I for sure see myself winning anywhere we go in any way I want to win.
I could see it now, because James Jr.'s been here the entire time with a big smile on his face. And I know personally, having a son a little over 6 years ago in my own right, I continue to change more and more every year, even every day, every second for that matter. It does do something to you and your drive and your motivation. Yes, I'm talking about you, and it does a lot to everything else in your life. How are you enjoying this newer chapter of your life?
I love being a dad. They say it's gonna, it changes your life, and you never believe that till it happens. And the thing with having a son is, it's not necessarily more motivation for my career as far as my goal is to be a champion. I'm a winner. I consider myself a winner. I've won the majority of stuff I've ever did in my life, because I work hard, and I'm mentally strong, and I believe in myself. And like I said, I've caught guys that have been training for 10, 15 years longer than I have, and I've caught up to these guys. So I consider myself, a winner regardless, and that's my goal, is always to be a winner and a champion. But the motivation it does, the main thing is obviously financially. Winning has a major financial advantage to it. Also, I just want to be my son's hero. I want my son to look up to me. I want him to tell everyone, oh, this is my daddy. I want to grow up be just like my daddy. So I really want to be my son's hero. So that's very important to me.
What's been your favorite part about being a dad? Like, what's the moment that's really stood out to you? I know the whole thing's just kind of a blur and it goes by really quickly, but what are kind of your favorite moments of being a dad?
A lot of them. Just seeing his whole little personality change, and see him get more confident, and seeing him. It's funny because a lot of fighters are like, oh, I would never want my kid to fight. I mean, if he wants to be a fighter, I would love it. I would obviously never try to force my son to, but I'm going to make him train for sure, because he's going to know how to defend himself regardless. But it's funny to see his little attitude he gets, and he's aggressive sometimes, and it just makes me laugh. And just imagine how he's going to be when he gets a little older. You tell him no, and he turns around and does it, and looks at you right before he does it to make sure. It's just funny to see his little attitude and how he's not afraid of nothing.
Are you prepared for when he's like 4, 5, 6, and he's talking back to you, and he's taking even bigger risks, and you kind of figure out how you want to handle it? I mean, I'm learning along the way, like, you can yell back at him, or you can just ignore him, and both fail no matter what. Are you ready for those moments?
I'm gonna spank him. But yeah, I'm ready for it. It's funny when I tell him no right now. I'll point at him. I'll say, "Daddy said no," and he'll just start crying, because we're just saying no, just because his feelings are hurt, and I'm talking loud to him. But yeah, I guess I'm prepared as I can be. I'll learn on the fly. But I'm excited when he gets a little older to be able to, hold pads for him and take him fishing. And I'm a big hunter and outdoorsman. Take him hunting. Take him to maybe shoot a small little BB gun when he's 5 years old or something, and let take him fishing and hunting. I'm excited to enjoy all this with him.
International Fight Week's going on right now. UFC 239 coming up on Saturday. I'm sure some gambling enthusiasts are watching along right now. Do you see anything wild going down from a betting perspective on Saturday? Do you see a world where we have any new world champions crowned?
Man, I don't know. I always like Holly Holmes, and I always like her against a pressure striker, striker, because she's such a good counter fighter. But the thing I underestimated, I lost some decent money on her against Cyborg, because what I underestimated was she is good as a striker. She doesn't have a lot of power, and Holly Holm was able to walk through her shots. Very similar to the way Johanna and Rose's second fight went. Johanna landed like 50 plus more strikes than she did, but the power difference was very, obvious. And that's what I'm worried about. That I think Holly's a mover, and stylistically, the way she moves, she could win a boring decision. But is she going to be able to avoid getting her shots walked through? You know what I'm saying? She's got to. I don't know if she's going to hit her with a clean head kick or anything like that. So if she wins, it's probably going to be a decision. So I would take a chance on Holly Holm, to be honest with you. I mean, I would take a major chance, but I mean, it's worth the risk for sure.
And John Jones, you feel like he'll do what John Jones does?
It's just hard to beat him. And it's funny, man, watching John Jones fight, because it's almost like he just loves a dogfight. Because it seems like every time he takes someone down, he has such a massive advantage over these people. It's like once he gets them down, they never get up again. And he'll wait till the third or fourth round to go for takedowns and stuff. It's like he likes to slug, So that's always dangerous, because his opponent, can punch hard, he's a big puncher, big kicker, good. But I think he's got to be careful kicking with John Jones too, because if he does too many crazy kicks, he might get taken down. I think the fight hits the ground, he's in trouble. John Jones finishes him relatively easily, or at least dominates on the ground. So I wouldn't take that bet.
Yeah, it's tough. That's why I don't bet on fights. I leave it to you guys and the experts. James, always great talking to you. I appreciate you doing so. Being away and in the hotel room and babysitting and all that. I really appreciate that. Really looking forward to the fight on the 20th between you and Dan Hooker. Before we let you go, let the folks know where to find and follow you on the web, social media, any sponsors, shout outs, all that good stuff. Anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours. Yeah, guys, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All is James Vick MMA. And go follow my Instagram, James Vick MMA, and tag a friend. And I am on the 2 posts I put up ago. I'm giving away two tickets to my fights in San Antonio. These are good floor seats. These are really good seats, and I'm giving away the tickets. So go follow my Instagram, tag a friend in the post that I put up about 3 days ago, and I'm going to select the winner July 17th, and then you'll be able to pick the tickets up at will call on the 20th on fight day. Very cool. So, thank you, James. All the best to you. Really appreciate the time. Best of luck in your fight. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.